What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another Epic 7 video. Today is a big one. We got the summer Luluca reveal, so we're going to do our first impression review on her kit as well as everything else about her, and then we're going to take a quick look at the 1-minute summary super fast on top of it because I think there's some interesting stuff in there. It's going to be a big week for Epic 7, and as always, make sure you guys type in the code for this week's gift box. It is Ocean Breeze. Get your free leaves in gold. Let's get into it. Okay, guys, I got the 1-minute summary. It's actually 2-minute long video, but I skimmed through it so that we can breeze through this real fast, and then we'll get through the first impression for Luluca because I really want to make sure our bulk of our time is spent watching that. So let's go ahead and just scroll through here. I kind of already checked it out, guys, but there's going to be summer check-in events, lots of free goodies. 2 check-in events, the side story that's going to encompass all that. We're going to cover the Ocean Breeze Luluca separately right after this. We have the confirmed skin for Sparkling Summer Celine, but let me know in the comments, guys, if y'all caught like how they're introducing this. They didn't specifically say, they didn't say anything about an epic pass, so maybe available via the story, side story. I'm not sure yet, but the equipment reset stones is something very key as well, which you're going to pause and cover. So here are the check-in rewards, guys. Very good stuff. Charms, leaves, bookmarks. You got some molas, some hero and artifact stuff as well. Very good. There's another check-in reward here that gives spirit blooms, the gold transmits, and leaves, right? There's the side story. It's Midsummer Paradise featuring Luluca. And you're going to be able to, they kind of previewed this last week, you're going to be able to craft some gear, which Epic 7's probably biggest issue at every player's game, or every player hits that point in the game, right, where gear becomes the biggest issue. Some of y'all sooner than later, and so extra ways to craft gear is always welcome. We'll see how good this actually is, but hey, more gear is always good, guys, depending on how it rolls. Yeah, that's the big part, the RNG on gear. We're going to skip through the Luluca animations because we're going to take our time and watch that separate. I got to look at this real fast, guys, because we are going to review her. So her artifact is 40 ER, dang, and 16% CR. Okay, we'll remember that for when we review. Here is the Summer Celine. So the skin is confirmed. She looks very good, guys. We saw that last week. And it says the new skin will be available in the Radiant Sunlight 2023 season. Okay. They didn't really say beyond that. More on her. This is actually insane, though. They're giving Seaside Bologna a limited unit, right? She's not the first limited, but it is rare to see them. And exclusive equipment, which I love. I actually use this girl. A lot of y'all probably use her in like Wyvern right now because she's a great Wyvern unit, but I still use her in Arena and PvP and RTA, guys. I think she's a little bit undervalued there. A lot of people reach for other units, and I think she's still super, super good in that role. And her getting a cleanse on skill 2 is very nice. The increased damage is not too impactful, at least if you build her in Rengar's Drink build, which has a lot of attack and not too much crit or damage, if any at all. Because you get a lot of the damage boost from that Rengar's Drink proc and having a lot of attack. But hey, if you do have a lot of crit damage, if you're using her like in Wyvern or something, this could be pretty impactful. And then the excuse me, skill 3 skill cooldown of the S3. That one is probably the least useful, but hey, more stuff for SSB, free stats on the attack, very, very good. I'm so happy with that. Tempest Surin, this is nice too. Crit chat's very, very powerful. Skill 1 is going to give her some increased damage or health absorption. Usually, typically build T Surin on Lifesteal or Giga Speed, like super high speed. But I think on the Lifesteal build, she may not need that. Moonlight Shadow, increased damage on skill 3. Hey, 10% more damage, a little extra on top. Very, very strong. And then the third one is she can apply, or she dispels a buff. Typically, you want to dispel like an immunity set buff, and then she can apply in Buffalo. Okay, hey, also very cool. Tempest Surin not used as often as she used to be, but maybe this will bring her more into the spotlight, right? Very, very cool. So equipment reset. I looked at this briefly, guys, but we need to wait for it to come out officially because this is not very clear just yet, but we have more information on it. The item has to be level 85 or 90. Has to be +3 or higher, obviously, because, you know, you wouldn't reset a base level of gear. So that kind of tells me, I'm assuming a few things here and there, guys. We'll officially wait. This is all just speculation. But I'm assuming, unlike Summoner's War, if you weren't aware, Summoner's War is another mobile game that Smilegate or Epic 7 is based, you know, it has a lot of inspiration from. I'll say that. And over there, their reappraisal stones, or their equipment reset, is what I've heard. I've never played Summoner's War, but it actually resets all the substats on a piece of gear. But the fact that they say at +3 or above, I think that won't reset the actual substats, right? Because then you could be able to use it at +0 if you just want to reroll the entire piece of gear. This is just going to keep the subs the same, which is what I think a lot of us assume, so that's good. Keep the subs the same, and then it'll just reroll the amount of what the sub gets, right? If that's all confusing, guys, we'll just wait for it to come out. But more information here. You can reset up to 5 times, and then you play the new side story to obtain this. So very, very cool, guys. This is actually a game changer. I just hope Smilegate doesn't monetize it and put it into packs too soon, but they've been pretty good with that in the past. Beyond that, guys, the draft mode, we'll skip that because I want to save some time here so we can focus on Summer Luluca, some UI, quality of life, and then here's the drop rate up, guys. Remember, if you're free to play, just save everything for Ocean Breeze, Summer Luluca, and then here's the Mystic rotation. Looks very good. These are all really strong. Okay, Guys, let's go ahead and check out the Luluca video. All right, I got the video locked and loaded. Ocean Breeze Luluca preview. They actually had a typo up here, guys. Instead of ocean, it's Oaken. But let's check it out.
Aren't you curious about my super special concoctions? Go on, place your orders.
Place your orders, boys.
Whenever, wherever.
So we saw this animation. Looks very good.
That's the Luluca front.
She isekais you into another world.
Just a moment. I'll be right with you.
And I've never been a Luluca fan, but I like Summer Luluca a lot.
Luluca goes with Violet to Terev Island. While they're playing in the water and enjoying
I
their
see the
trip,
appeal. Those of you that like
Violet
Luluca.
disappears. When Luluca next sees him,
Jesus.
he's become a guinea pig.
Guinea pig
Determined
Violet.
to restore him to his original form, Luluca strikes a deal with Lily, the island's
Lilith? Is that how she
So,
said their name?
In order to unravel the mysteries of Terev Island, Luluca takes on a part-time job as Lily's helper.
It sounds like he's saying Lily, right, guys? But the name is pronounced Lethe. I thought it was Lethe or Leith, but he's saying Lily. Anyways, I'm not sure how Cez is pronouncing that, but that's my favorite character, guys, and she's connected to the story. But we'll have to wait, I think, a couple weeks to see her preview. Now let's focus on Luluca here, guys. We'll take over. We have an Earth Soul Weaver Gemini. Base speed is only 105, but she has 30 base effect resist with an imprint concentration if you have spare Luluca dupes, or health for team, but probably imprint concentration for more effect resist because she is a Soul Weaver with high base ER2, right? And I did take a sneak peek at her artifact when we did the 1 minute summary. So let's see what she's all about here. So we have the stats, guys. We have the skill 2. Oh, interesting. So the truck ability is actually on the skill 2. After an enemy uses a non-attack skill, which there's a million of, right, guys? Most openers nowadays, most every character, even some passives that you guys might not be aware of. There's a lot of non-attack skills out there, but she'll gain 2 focus. Okay, she's a focus character. That's a little risky. Sometimes focus characters can be hit or miss. Remember also, too, guys, that means anything like Solitaria will be able to stop her, but let's keep going on here. Gain 2 focus and increase combat readiness to caster by 15. And then 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 25% combat readiness push. Okay, remember her base speed, though, is 105, which isn't the fastest. So we'll need quite a bit of combat readiness or build her on a lot of speed if we want to cut. Certain enemies can only be activated once every 2 turns. Okay. And then after using a skill, when focus is full, consumes all focus and activates. Okay, so she has to use a skill, and her focus has to be full, which I'm assuming, right? 5 focus. She'll get 2 from this every 2 turns. And then she has to use a skill, so it's not an automatic activation like a lot of these other focus mechanics usually work. Attacks all enemies who are interrupting her delivery. I know I said that weird. Dispelling 2 buffs and an 85% chance to inflict silence for 1 turn and 100% chance to decrease hit for 2 turns. That's very strong, guys. Especially if you're thinking about using this against, you know, your typical non-attack openers. Typically like aggressive or cleave compositions. Hitting them with either a silence or a hit and a blind buff is actually kind of insane if you can get in between and interrupt their flow, right? And I think that's going to be the biggest issue with Luluca here, as her base speed is a little low. But with the artifact that we, you know, took a sneak peek at, we'll cover it fully here, guys, if you're skipped ahead in the video. Plus the 25% CR here. I think it's possible. It's definitely doable. Let's take a look at the animation one more time.
It increases the combat readiness of the caster by up to 25%. Can only be activated once every 2 turns. After using a
okay,
skill,
so they didn't really
when
show
focus
anything.
Is full, consume Lulu her dice to inflict silence for 1 turn.
I think they'll show it right here. Let's see.
100%.
So they just cut straight through it, but I'm assuming she used the skill 3, right?
Or decreasing skill cooldowns of the caster by 1 turn.
That's typically how it's going to go, guys. I believe. Okay, let's see the skill 3 first, though. This one's on me. Yeah, so it does give 3 focus that procs, or it doesn't instantly proc it unless they open with a skill, which means you're going to want to bring her versus non-attack skills, right? Otherwise, she seems... let's see, defense up. Ice cream buff? With quality customer service, dispels 2 debuffs from all allies, okay? And grants increased defense, which is actually very powerful, guys. There's actually not too many ways to get defense up, as a lot of the increased defense units are sort of pushed out of the meta currently at the moment. Karina has like a self-defense up. Some units have self-defense up, but team-wide defense buff is actually pretty rare depending on what kind of style you play, and it's a super powerful buff. It's just not a lot of people try to survive. Instead, people try to contest speed and things like that. For 2 turns, and then you get an ice cream, which sounds funny. Ice cream, undispellable buff. Okay, more undispellable stuff. After being attacked, recovers 20% of max health. Interesting. Okay. Dispels after being attacked. So one-time use. Can't be dispelled, though, when you get 20% of your max health. 20% of the max user's health, right? Not Luluca's health, I'm assuming, since they didn't clarify. Okay. On a 4-turn cooldown, she gets 3 focus. So you want to bring her into a comp that they're going to use a non-attack skill. That's going to give her 2 focus. Then she takes her turn because she's going to cut. And then we use that 3 focus. And then after this procs, the defense up, the ice cream, the dispel buffs, she'll lead into the bus, right? She'll run you over with a truck. Okay, that's our game plan, guys. Let's see the... oh, actually, let's look at this buff real fast, the animation.
After being attacked, recovers 20% of max health.
So there's the ice cream cone buff.
Dispelled after being attacked.
And then they show the damage here. Although that Luluca did negative damage, so we can't see the 20%, but 369, okay. One time 20% use, interesting. Here's her skill 1, boys. Orders in, just wait. 1 focus, 1 soul. Attacks the enemy with overflowing energy and increases combat readiness of the ally with the highest combat readiness except for the caster by, looks like 15%. Yeah, 15%. And then she can soul burn that for all allies. Okay, that's pretty strong skill 1 too. Okay, now let's look at the artifact real fast because I did spoil myself when we were watching the 1 minute summary. This artifact at max will give 40% ER. Remember, this is going to be a limited artifact, guys. And will also give up to 16% combat readiness. And then, you know, at 15, it'll give 30. And what is that, 12%? Yeah, looks like at 15, it'll give 30 ER and 12% if you guys want to just keep 1 copy. So I think there's some definitely some viable alternatives. A lot of people are going to start looking at things like Arturnus that a lot of people, I think, are using for this sort of artifact. But 40% effect resist, guys, is a lot. That's a lot. If you can somehow max it, that is, of course, whale territory. But 60% combat readiness and 40% ER for just stat boost. I'm definitely considering it, all right? I don't think I'll say, like, must-have by any means. Always pull 1 of every artifact, though, guys, especially limiteds. You never know. Maybe we'll just bottle it later if it turns out you really want that extra effect resist plus the combat readiness push. But we'll see. I think for Luluca especially, I like the idea of this so far. But I think there are going to be some alternatives. I'm going to have to brainstorm this especially. But I want to talk. Let's let this play out, guys. Let's watch the animation actually first. Her idle animation.
A troublemaking part-timer who likes to wander Breeze Luluca through the limited summon starting July 6th.
Okay. Chilling, laid back. Hamster Violet on her head. Or is it Guinea Pig Violet? And then we have a cooler full of ice cream, which she hands out to her teammates, right? Looks good.
Thank you.
All right. Let's let this combat demo play out while I talk just real fast. And then we're going to wrap things up here, guys. So far, is she a must-pull unit? I don't think so. Because if you notice, she has no healing on her kit. Meaning, for PvE, I don't think a lot of you guys are going to need her. For PvE, no healing, just defense up and then some cleanse. And then you don't really need that focus mechanic, right? So for everything outside of like PvP scenarios, if y'all are more PvE players, definitely not a must pull. If you want her though, because she looks good, and for collection, definitely get her. And remember guys, for limiteds, you never know if you want to play some PvP later down the line. You never know if she's actually something you need for your kit. So make sure y'all try to pull at least 1 copy of her and her artifact. For most limiteds out there, just be on the safe end and try to get a copy if possible. Don't get mad at me. I know sometimes I ask y'all to pull a lot of things, but that's just the case with limited units. All right. Now, second, how do I think I'm going to use her? I like her kit for the turn 2 style. Look at these units that they're showing us in this showcase. These are units I like, guys. Bruiser units, tanky units. We want to survive and then clap back, right? Which is harder and harder to do as the game progresses because these openers like Conquer Lilius, like Ran, like Lua, like Amid, they just pump out so much damage, momentum and tempo that it's harder and harder to survive and keep up as a slower player. But I think if Luluca works how I'm envisioning, how Smilegate I think is envisioning, we stack like her artifact, we stack that combat readiness from the skill 2. If they use an opener, which a lot of times they still will, there's a chance she'll cut. She'll be able to cleanse some debuffs. Let's say it's a Ran opener or something. And then she'll be able to give defense up, which could help us survive. Ice cream buff. And then on top of that too, guys, she might silence and blind. So it's going to be very, very tricky if your opponent decides to use a non-attack skill. If they hold their skills, that's where things get a little awkward, right? And that's how things are always with these sort of countering non-attack skill units or countering extra turn units. So when you look at units like Politis, like Green Celine, like Betty Maru, just always remember that in scenarios like Real-Time Arena, where you're not fighting AI, your opponent always has the option of just holding their skills. Meaning for Hand Guy, for Conqueror Lilius, Meteor Quark, by the way, when I say Hand Guy, they can just not use skill 3. They can just use their skill 2. They can just use their skill 1. And then that's going to make sure that Luluca's not going to get that 2 focus, right, from the non-attack skill. So just be aware of that. But I do think she's going to put your opponent in some pressure like all these units do. And if they do decide to use their skills, potentially if she cuts in that skill 2, skill 3, I think that's game over, honestly. The cleanse, the defense up, the ice cream buff, plus potentially blinding and attack downing aggressive units. insane. So we'll see how it all pans out. I'm not sure fully yet, but I love the idea, and I'm definitely going to pull and test her because I like these kind of units, and I think they will help us survive if it works as according to plan. But that's the problem, right? But anyways, guys, if you want to see, I'll test her as soon as she's out and available. Good luck on your summons. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, guys.